Welcome to episode 9 of Beyond the Walls, the series where I cover current hot topics on Embark Studios games, the finals and the in-development ARC creators, their communities, and things like Easter egg discoveries. It almost goes without saying that context and expectation setting can make a massive difference in the way we perceive things. Imagine just for a moment that when the finals launched back in early December 2023, that Embark Studios called that launch the Finals Early Access and told us that the full launch of the game would be 9 to 12 months away, but in the meantime they'd give us early access so they could experiment with game modes and balancing with the full community. And then now they said that the full launch of the game was on September 26th, or as Gustav Tilleby, the game's creative director, actually describes Season 4.
Like you said, this is the finals almost, like it's back to the core of the game.
While my point about context might be kind of moot, because this ain't how it happened, there was no early access, I think it might at least help to put where the game is at into some sort of context for us, and I think Gustav calling this season the finals actually shows that the Embark team are kind of thinking this way too. Now you've probably watched a few new videos from content creators and maybe even watched some streamers playing or the dev team being interviewed as part of the preview event for Season 4 of the finals that Embark Studios held as part of their visit to TwitchCon San Diego, which by the way I think they did a stellar job of, including content creator Thixie, whose casting during the event was infectiously enthusiastic and on point. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Embark for inviting me to the event as well so I could record the footage of the new map Fortune Stadium that you're watching. Following the event in the broadest terms, I'd say that so far the vast majority of comments flowing out of that preview event seem to be overwhelmingly positive. Season 4 brings a new map, a new weapon for each of the 3 builds, changeable weapon sights, an improved and more balanced cash out coming back to ranked, a brand new sponsor progression system with you choosing between Holto, Isolt and Njimo, and then earning fans to progress you through the sponsor rewards. There are no new gadgets or specializations in Season 4, and I've seen a few comments of disappointment from that. Still, the silver lining from this is that we can probably expect a refinement of balancing through the season, with only the 3 new weapons joining the selection players have to choose their loadouts from. Overall though, I think Season 4 is shaping up to be the strongest season so far for the finals, and it appears that mostly the community is pretty happy with how it's looking. Now just in the last day, the game's design director Matt Lowe has published a blog that took a very deep data-driven dive into how they've been working to solve various issues with the cash out mode. I've linked the article in the video description for you. Here's some of the key info from the article. Firstly, it's given us some interesting insight into the players that make up the finals community. We have 3 main groups of players we're especially keen to support. New players. A not insignificant number of the game's daily players are brand new players that installed the game for the first time that day. Making sure they have a good experience is an important part of helping the game grow. Then there are regular players. These players make up the majority of the daily players. They play the game about 2 to 3 hours a week and play a wide variety of game modes. And competitive players. These are our more hardcore players and make up around 1/6 of our daily average users. They play many hours a week and tend to prefer the ranked or more competitive modes. All of these players are important to running successful games and a thriving community. So when it comes to balancing, it's important we try to give each of them the best experience possible. This pretty much segued the article into Matt discussing third partying in the finals. He wrote about how they've worked on changes to the spawning system to reduce instances of third partying around vaults. Essentially, this has been done by dividing the 4 teams into 2 pairs, each of which spawn very close to one vault rather than the other, which has the effect of sending 2 teams to each vault. This has taken the percentage of team versus team fights at vaults as opposed to 3 teams turning up from between 40 to 60% up to more than 80% on average, so a massive change. Similarly, and in my view more importantly, Matt wrote, as mentioned above, another bad incentive we identified that we felt encouraged third-party fights and led to a lot of frustration for teams was that almost all the cash value in the mode came from completing cash outs. This type of scoring encouraged many teams to deliberately seek out a third-party attack on objective defenders late in the cash out process, with the goal of swooping in and taking advantage of several weakened teams to steal all the cash. Over time, this led to starting the cash out by depositing the cash box being one of the weaker strategies, which should really not be the case in a capture and hold focus game mode. So as previously stated, we moved to immediately awarding around 30% of the cash box value to the depositing team when they started the cash out, to incentivize starting them over stealing them. In patch 3.10, we added an additional benefit to also incentivize depositing, the defender bonus. This gives the team currently owning the in-progress cash out a shorter time until they can spend a coin to respawn, with the goal of helping them protect the cash out more easily and thus making it more desirable to start a cash out. The chart below shows the impact these changes had. And here's that chart. Prior to patch 3.6, around 38.77% of cash outs completed without ever changing owner. 14.64% was stolen but then recovered by the defending team before the cash out completed, but 46.59% of them were stolen and cashed out by another team. That's not a great incentive to start a cash out if almost half the time you will never get the rewards for that work, or worse, your efforts are worth 0 cash. Our target has always been that the steal rate on cash outs should only be around 30 to 40%, so that capturing and holding the objective is the most desirable activity and achievable. What the chart above shows is that after the 3.10 patch, what we've seen in World Tour cash out is that the steal rate has dropped from close to 47% down to approximately 42%. This doesn't sound like much, but it's close to a 10% improvement compared to before 3.6 for defending teams, making starting the cash out a much more desirable move. This data excludes the benefits already gotten from now receiving around 30% of the cash total on delivery of the cash box. The impact of these changes should be clear. The value of third-party fights at cash outs has decreased compared to what it once was. Starting the cash out is a much more viable strategy now. So these are all good changes. There's less third-partying at vaults, and starting and defending a cash out has become more viable, as it should be. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but personally, I'd like to see Embark continue to experiment with the defender bonus in World Tour through Season 4. I'd be interested to see what happens if the longer a team defends their cash out, the faster and closer their respawn is to the cash out if they get team wiped. That way teams are rewarded for great defense, but not in the form of cash, which could alter the final outcome. That should mostly depend on the ability to steal the cash out, because that's one of the core pillars of what makes the finals so exciting to play. Okay, lastly, during the preview event, community members at Hero Arcade and I spotted a White Rabbit Easter egg on the Fortune Stadium map under the stairs that are equivalent to the same stairs next to the data center on the Seoul map. However, after a bit of discussion amongst the community about whether Embark should include Easter eggs in exclusive preview event builds of the game, I reached out to Embark co-founder Rob Runeson, and he then wrote in the Discord, "Hi all, about to land in Stockholm after an amazing weekend at TwitchCon San Diego. These are not supposed to be here. Some random artist, Stigson, forgot to turn these off, so unfortunately they will be in 4.0. I played the build a couple of hours yesterday and checked, and I can confirm that no Season 4 Easter eggs were available in the test build, if you disregard the mini lore clues, but nothing from the big hunt. I can also tell you that there are actually new white rabbits coming during Season 4, but they don't look the same as the old one." So I think this is a good thing, and it seems the majority of you agree with a poll I posted on my YouTube channel community tab showing that almost 2/3 of you would prefer that Easter eggs are turned off for exclusive preview events like this. I agree that it's fair on all Easter egg hunters if the preview events don't include them, so everyone has a chance to search for them later, and it also means that those of us that are lucky enough to be invited to the event don't have to make some kind of moral decision about whether to keep an eye out for Easter eggs or not. If there aren't any there, then everyone can look for them once the season starts, and those of us invited to the events can still happily report on everything else we see in the game. Thanks for watching this video to the end, and thank you to the members of my channel for their ongoing support. It is greatly appreciated. Do the usual YouTube business if you want to see more videos from me from now on. Give a like or comment as you see fit, and enjoy the rest of your day. Kia kaha, stay strong. The thing I was saying to Arcade before Atsuhiro was that the map kind of feels like a combination of a cruise ship and a prison.
Yeah. I agreed.
Everybody knows the world ain't right. Down on your knees, get up and fight.